Hello and welcome to the Highlanders versus the Crusaders post-match reaction. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host, and we'll see who will join me. Plenty of chat in our Facebook Messenger group, but I'm not sure which ones will be joining me. But yes, Super Rugby Aotearoa is back, yay, with a bang, and with some glorious rugby between the Highlanders and Crusaders, but also, let's be honest, some early season rust as well between these two sides. If you've not seen the result, let's give you the result before we start giving a reaction to the game. But it finished 13-26 with the Crusaders winning it, unsurprisingly. I guess kind of the result we thought it would be. So let's see. But they weren't as clinical as they as we've seen them previously, and we saw some early season rust also from the Highlanders, as well as some really questionable leadership, you've got to say. How did this one kick off? Well, it kicked off with the Highlanders having the upper hand for the first 7 minutes or so, camping in the Crusaders' half and not coming away with points. And at that point, you're already thinking, oh dear, this is probably going to be a long night for the Highlanders, because you know what, if you get that period of dominance over the Crusaders early in the game, you have to come away with some points. You can't just let them come straight back and score a try, which is exactly what the Crusaders did. And we're all sat there going, okay, here we are, situation normal, repeat of what we've seen many times before. So yes, that's kind of what we expected. The Crusaders lost possession a couple of times, in all honesty. Sure, the commentary all about how clinical and how the Crusaders took their advantages, but there was quite a few dropped balls by both teams, quite a few turnovers early on for that. So yes, in the end, great line by Cody Taylor to score that try. Broke the line and then went all the way in to score, and easy one for him under the posts. A bunch of people saying, hey, what's the link? There he is. Good evening, Jordan, in the live chat, and good evening, Cornflake. You know what? As you were saying in our chat, hasn't someone signed up? Yes, he has. Stephen Harris has, but he's not here, is he? Where's he gone? So there you go. But you've bailed me out. So great to have you on the show, even though we can see those red eyes crying at the results, because obviously upsetting for a Highlanders fan to start the season this way.
Oh, geez, I had two of you going in my ears then. That was a bit scary. I had to sort out what was going on there. But hey, I mean, exciting matchup. It was exciting. It was a fun game. There's a lot of talking points out of that matchup, isn't there? We could probably talk for a good 3 hours on this one on Sunday, no doubt, with what happened in this game. But yeah, hey, Highlanders, I think from a Highlanders perspective, there's a lot of good points to take out of that game. Both sides are pretty messy and scrappy in parts. I think the Highlanders certainly should have taken away more from their chances. It's a bit like watching the Force last weekend. I think I talked about it quite a lot. I said that the Force were the better team when they played the Brumbies. I think the Highlanders were the better team overall. If you break that, that whole game down, they're the better side. I think the Crusaders, just like they always do, they get a chance, and just like that, 3-4 phases, bang, they've scored a try, and then they're back to halfway, and then you see the Highlanders grinding away, trying to make something happen again. So that's just the story of that matchup. Just the ability to finish off was lacking massively for that Highlanders team.
I think what was one of the key things was that the Highlanders maul just did not work tonight. I don't think they got one more going forwards. Now, I know we've had some comments by Boa in the chat group saying about the illegality of some of the Crusaders' defence. But hey, if the referee lets you get away with it, it's legal on the night, and they got away with it. Joining us also, we have Herman. How you doing, sir? It's been a long time and from seeing you on the show. Great to have you back. And hey, it's Super Rugby, so you're back into your rugby groove.
Oh, it's brilliant. It is. I love Super Rugby Aotearoa. Well, just for the Kiwi, I know there's mainly a Kiwi audience here. I just want you to know, especially the watching from the rest of the world, I'm in Sweden, obviously. It's almost makes me cry to watch that you have fans in the stands and life is normal. And we are so jealous, but it's also kind of inspirational too. But we're working hard to get there. We're not there, but just be very, very, very happy what you got right now. Be very happy with it because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I guess as you say, it's something that we take for granted here in New Zealand. That it's kind of like, well, of course there are crowds. But you're quite right. Having watched Six Nations games recently with 2 empty stadiums, you're right. It is we are privileged and to be in the situation we're in, and we should be aware of that and enjoy it to its fullest. Good crowd, Steve, down in Dunedin. Also, the Highlanders start off with a hacker. Actually, so perhaps this is one of the things we probably should. One of the key takeaways from this. Are we going to see hackers at all of the Super Rugby games, do you reckon, or was this a special occasion for the Highlanders?
I mean, we did see a little bit of it last season, didn't we? In Super Rugby Aotearoa when it did kick off. So maybe I don't know. You don't want to flood it. That saying I thought of it was cool. It was impactful. It was nice as a surprise, and it got the crowd into it. They liked it, but you just don't want to oversaturate things. I feared when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's cool, that's nice. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. But I was like, are the Crusaders going to reply to that? And I was like, what's going to happen here? I think it's a call for special occasions. If there's something on, okay, that's all well and good. But I think don't overdo it. Don't do it every single match out with two teams doing. I think the Chiefs are probably a sort of cultured team like that. They might pull that sort of thing out. I was kind of surprised. The Highlanders are sort of like that, but I think we've got leaders like Ash Dixon and Aaron Smith in that team. That is their background. That's their sort of culture that they bring to that side. So, hey, it was cool. It was nice. But let's not overdo it. You know, we see those Northern Hemisphere guys, they hate the huggers already. So, come on, let's not give them any more ammunition. They don't need it. It was just, it was cool. It was nice. Good.
I have something to add to that because it was kind of super. But I guess what you're alluding to was during the last Lions tour was some complaints up north. But come on, not another haka. You know, it was a lot of haka. But as anyone who really remembers, Highlanders were one of the. They didn't do a haka when we played against the Lions. Do you remember? We actually just gave him a sword as a gift. You remember this? So I was a bit surprised. I thought like down in the south, like we don't do hakas down here. But apparently you do.
It's the culture of the team, eh? That's what it all comes down to. And I think it's the leaders within that side. When you break it down a little bit, it's not surprising. Like I said, with guys like Dixon and Aaron Smith as your two co-captains, and that's what they bring to that team. And I think, if it was, when that Lions team was around, geez, what year was that? It was a very, very different culture at the Highlanders, very different makeup of the team as well. So, it just goes with your squad.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough. And it was a good haka too. It was a good haka. Let's give him that. It was not bad.
Unique.
It was interesting to see the Crusaders doing a very kind of traditional rugby thing of all hands in and a little 1, 2, 3, oi kind of thing, or a little chant was their kind of pre-match G up before that. So it's as you say. Let's keep for special occasions. Or if it's right for that team. It doesn't need to be done for necessarily by every team at every single at every time. So Crusaders. We talked about I've talked about the Taylor wonderful line. We had Reece then overlapping for Hall to score a try off the line out. And look, if you were going to if you're going to jam in, especially on first phase, and leave that winger unguarded, you have to get the ball, or you have to get the ball carrier. The Highlanders didn't. That's going to leave Reece free, and then the Crusaders were just flooding through. Any one of about 4 or 5 players could have scored that one. Hall was just lucky that the ball bounced into his hands for him to score it with that little cross kick from Reece. And after that first 20 minutes, you got to say it was typical Crusaders, including giving away penalties in their own 22 to make sure that the opposition didn't score. Thankfully, the referee gave an early yellow, which was nice to see. I'm not sure whether he kept the consistency of that ongoing, though. through the game. But yeah, a good good to see an early yellow there. And you must have been again good thinking on the hoof, Cornflake, by the team, because the blindside flanker was the guy who got the multiple yellow, which meant when there was a scrum, they knew there was going to be a gap down that blind side. So it was like Frizzell hit the sideline, we'll go in the field, and then we'll spin it back to you, and you're just going to run over the winger.
Yeah, I think that the key part of it was the Marino McAley too, who actually made inroads into that defence. He put pretty much everyone in that scrum offside, which is what the commentators really pinpointed on that. When the ball goes floating over their head like that, they'll illegally couldn't do anything about it. Not that that really matters for a Crusaders team, does it? What happens to the law book? But yeah, it was smart, it was clever. It was a predetermined thing. I think they knew what was going to happen. They had to execute it, and I think if Makele Tu'u went backwards, that would have been curtains on that play. So it was well executed, well put through. And when you get a big man like Shannon Frizzell out there, he's pretty hard to stop when you're only a couple of meters out. So well played and well thought out move. But you got to have the players. Makele Tu'u was important, but Aaron Smith, that bullet pass as well. You can't underestimate the value that brings with our Highlanders fans. You're used to seeing that. Most scrum halves can't execute that as well either. So yeah, 3 really, really key things.
Yeah, and we saw Hall try something similar with sort of looping ball over the top just for Solomon Alamalo to intercept it early on, didn't we? So yeah, you're right. One of the differences between these two sides is the quality of that scrum half, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we going to debate if Aaron Smith is in
okay, okay, I'll let you eulogise about Nariki instead, because I thought he had a blinding line as Hunt, an improving Hunt, looped around and let Nariki go. And I thought Nariki was pretty elusive this whole game, but making that try for Garden Bishop to close things up to 10-14, and yeah, the what we thought was going to be a blowout turned into a much closer game at half time, didn't it?
Yep. But I thought it was pretty close from beginning to, because when I saw a stat when Crusaders had scored the second try, they've been inside the Highlanders 22 2 times, but Highlanders already been inside the Crusaders 22 3 times, but haven't scored. I mean, is there any stats so many times Highlanders were inside the Crusaders 22 today? Do you have that stat, Paul?
It's got to be
over 10. Easily over 10 times.
I've got the territory stat, which has the Highlanders on 57% territory and 54% possession. So yeah, they had the territory in possession too.
But also they were inside the 22 many times.
And that's where I think we'll probably actually is the big question mark is going to be that leadership question around this Highlanders team. 7 opportunities to go for goal. They took, I think, 6 lineouts and 1 tap and go with a driving maul that was being destroyed legally or illegally by the Crusaders. Herman, they've got to learn to switch things up and think on their feet. They can't just stick to a game plan that's not working.
Yeah, I was making a joke in our group chat during the game, but I was wondering if Highlanders were captained by Michael Hooper today, because that looks like proper that looks like proper wallabies, along the Shika, All right, go for the line. And when you also had the point that, as you said, that when your driving maul is getting totally destroyed by the Crusaders, it felt like, come on. I mean, it's 19-13, 25 minutes left in the game. You kick for free, for sure, against the Crusaders too. I mean, that's because for me, always playing against Crusaders is a little bit like you got to approach. Everyone talks like it's like test rugby, but when you're actually playing Crusaders, you are playing test rugby. You got to approach it like a test rugby game. So that's it's such an obvious one for the Highlanders to adjust to, because you just can't do that in a close game like this. No way. Stupid. I mean, it's sorry, but that's the only way you can describe it.
And the Crusaders did try to kick the 3. Okay, they missed, but at 13-19, let's take this from being a 6-point game to a 9-point game and make it 2 scores. Let's keep that straight.
They played test rugby.
Yeah. So 7 opportunities turned down there from that. In that second half, Reece in the corner, he just continues to prove that he's a small guy, but he's a powerful guy, and he knows how to get that ball down and to score tries.
How about the tackle on Leon Squire, Siveris? Did you see that one? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, watch out, but no, very impressive for a winger.
And Boa, who people who watched our shows before will know, he's very tight on height of and technique of tackles. Severis has a bit of a reputation, or amongst us anyway, of generally shoulder barging rather than tackling. Severis was his technique seems to improve this season, he's not fearful. that's for certain.
No. From a like European perspective, he reminds me a little bit like of Antoine Dupont, the French scrummer. He's like deceptively strong for being a small guy. You can see when Severis tackle guys at the same size, he usually smashes them. The same thing you can see with Antoine Dupont. When he actually tackle guys in his own size, you can see that he's way stronger than his regular size. And you can probably say the same for Severis. My man of the match for today, by the way.
Well, 2 refereeing decisions will definitely be under the spotlight from a Highlanders point of view. First off, we had Moody early on, which we'll come back to in a second. But since we're talking about Rees fumbled the ball over the line, and I can't remember which of the Highlanders players got to it first. They put it down, and they went back 3 phases to a maul. They said on-field try. On the field, the referee was like, it's just bobbled. And then the TMO decides, no, that's a clear and obvious knock on. Oh, that was a tad harsh.
Yeah. Give it cornflake. You're a Highlander
what way
fan.
you look at it? Because I looked at that Severis try that he just talked about before in that corner, and that was a touch and go. His foot hit the chalk, the ball went down, ball went off the line, ball went off, his foot was off the chalk. It was a 50-50, and I think, well, they called on-field try. Stands fair enough. Okay, no arguments really with that. But I thought same should have really applied for that try, because there was no clear indication that it was actually knocked on. It more looked like a boot or something else. It moved the ball before Fakatava had actually picked. It was Aaron Smith still on the field then. Whoever the scrum half was at that time actually picked it up. So I thought that should go benefit of the doubt to the on-field call being a try. But what a mix-up at the back it was by the Crusaders players. Moanga crashing into another one of his players. Neither really grounded the ball. It was just a real mix-up. I thought it was
they got to be so happy that try was taken away. Otherwise, the review meeting on Monday, my God.
I think the review meeting on Monday should be going to Severis as well to learn the goal line dropout rule, because he just got on his face too on that one.
Well, yes, but he did that. Yeah, the goal line dropout rule, then messed it up, and Aaron Smith's like, "Look, should we play on?" And the referee's like, "No, it has to go over the 22. It's a 22 dropout. It has to. Yeah, you can't. Play hasn't restarted until that ball goes over the 22. So no, you can't." But both of them were demonstrating. No, look, it's this, and it's Don't we love a few some brand new laws and early season confusion as everyone tries to figure out what they are. On that one,
or the goal line 22, as the referee called it as well, when we actually got the first legitimate one.
Rather than the goal line dropout. Nice. So yes, that one. Okay, then. We all agree that was harsh on the Highlanders. That would have made it 2019, which obviously would have changed the complexion of the game at that point. But also, okay, first 3 minutes, Moody gets held outside of a maul, just like players get held all of the time during games. Nothing particularly malicious or nothing overly malicious by the other player. Now, what normally happens is players will take their arm up and bring it down to try and break the hold. Moody decides that's not the way he's going to deal with this one. He's just going to lash out with his hands at somewhere vaguely head height, as his head height, and then just wonder where his hands go. Funnily enough, those hands go into someone else's face. Now, he didn't clench any fists. He was trying to push away. So you could say it was a kind of handoff kind of thing. But you can't be swinging arms around at head height and where you're going to connect with someone's face. For example, Dylan Hartley got red carded when he wasn't looking, but he swung an elbow at head height and hit someone in the face. Well, you know what? If you're going to swing around at that height, you're going to get yourself in. You should get yourself in trouble. And to my mind, that was a red card because you're putting your hands in someone's face. Now, some mitigating things of there wasn't much force and all that kind of stuff, maybe, but for the referee to just go, oh, look, both of you guys are in the wrong. I'm going to ignore the whole thing and just talk to you, seemed like it's too early for me to give a card kind of reaction, rather than actually thinking like, I'll destroy this game if I send him off.
Was a great game if you would send him off, wouldn't it? Crusaders with 40 men from up to 7 to 8 minutes. That's what all New Zealand wants to see. Come on, ref.
Well, no, only 80% of, or maybe 90% of New Zealand. The 10% in Christchurch don't want to see that.
No, it would be exciting for them too, you know. If there's any team who could play with 40 men, it's Crusaders. You know, the ref got that one wrong. You know.
So, what are your? I mean, to me, it was a red card. What's? Am I just being overly nanny state and boring, or what are your views? I'll start with Herman.
I would have settled for a yellow, but a very, very clear yellow. Not because they are like open hand palms, light slaps, and 1 or 2. But I counted he hit him 4 times. That's what does it for me. That's what does it for me. I mean, come on. What if I can see the referee sort of, it's just one's handbags, but when you do it 4 times, that's pretty clear intent. Like what you. So yeah, I would have gone with a yellow, a very, very, very clear yellow for me. It was not red, but a yellow I would have gone for.
Cornflake.
Okay, so the way it depends if you want to look at this the way that the game laws are stipulated, or are we looking at what is something silly? I mean, if it's something silly and pathetic, I mean, yeah, a yellow card, I guess. If you look at 5 years ago, you would have said, yeah, it would have been probably harsh. But these days, head off the ball, hitting head above the shoulders, it's a head. And it's a hand and a head, and it's a head. That's all you really need to know, regardless of the team, the player. People get sent off in previous games in recent history for doing what you just said, Paul, for breaking the hold, for retaliating for a guy holding your shirt. They get sent off for that, yellow carded for that sort of thing. I just, as soon as you go for the head, you just, it's just completely, you're throwing yourself with no cause. You're just going, you might as well just walk off, because you might as well pick the guy up and drop him on his head as well while you're at it, and just and I'd stomp on him. It's you get the head. It's the head. The laws, everything hates the head. If you go anywhere near the head, you're up the creek. You're absolutely up the creek.
To be fair, force is decided when head is involved. Now, for those of you who have got any, so I'm going to put a comment up on screen that says from New Zealand Sport Radio. So if Moody gets a red, then you have to make fending a player in the face a red card. Yeah, nah. Now, for those who's any doubt, that's Stephen Harris. That's not me typing. Okay, folks. He also has access to the account. So yes. So well, I'm 90% sure that's Stephen Harris. It's either him or Ashwin, but I'm pretty sure it's Stephen. Look, there's a difference between look, legally you're allowed to do an open palm handoff. That's whilst you're carrying the ball in with somebody. Legally, when you're away from the ball and away from play, you cannot rub your hand in someone's face or slap someone in the face. Which, if you're being nice, he was doing. If you're being not nice, it was an open hand punch or an open hand strike. Sorry.
But sorry, for me, what's like also gets a little bit counterproductive, because you've seen. But it's been like for the last 18 months, after since the last World Cup, you're slowly seeing this attitude change too, that even fans and pundits and coaches are starting to accept that the head is a no-go. So, like there were a couple of red cards in the Six Nations, and when you actually read the guest books and forums afterward, you see that, like before it would be like game gone soft, everyone would be complaining. Now I realize, no, the player is stupid. He went for the head, like take it, like, and yeah, it should. In that regard, should probably be a good message also for Super Rugby Aotearoa to get right away, like no head, and send that message from, because now we're kind of okay. I mean, we will look at it. We will look, because if everyone agrees that the head is a no-go area, which I guess that's the only way rugby can go. I mean, yep. So it's a little bit stupid.
Moody's also got some form as well. This is not the first time he gets involved in this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think he's skating on thin ice.
He got the All Black discount there, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely. To me, that was an All Black discount.
If that would have been like a new, fresh rookie player doing like that after 2 minutes, he would for sure have gone being yellow carded, I think.
The big problem, though, with that whole situation now, that's the first game of the season. It was 3 minutes into the match. The precedent's set now. That whole season, you're going to come back to this moment, and they're opening 3 minutes of that game, and you're going to say, well, Joe Moody did it to the... That's the other funny thing about it. I've seen a comment on Twitter. Of course, the only Irishman playing in New Zealand rugby right now gets into a fight in the first 3 minutes of the season. Of course, that's what happens, isn't it, as well? But yeah, you're going to go back to the situation. You're going to go, well, let's compare apples and oranges here. Situations that are going to be similar sort of things, and it's a consistency that is not going to be there from the referees, because on another day, someone's going to give that, at least a yellow very comfortably. Like, directly, he's just going to go, I don't want to see that again. Off you go. Yeah,
we'll have to see whether he gets cited or not.
I don't think so.
If he gets cited, then that removes the kind of precedent setting. If he doesn't get cited, then you're right. It's absolutely a precedent.
8 week suspension.
Ouch! No one get that high. Probably 3. But anyway.
He can play against the Blues, but no one else.
Oh dear. So yeah, a couple of minutes because we need to wrap up before the next game starts. Don't forget, folks, you can join us at 8 p.m. on Sunday when we will actually have a review of the game rather than just reaction. This is just us with our blood boiling, still adrenaline pumping, straight afterwards reaction. But we'll have some more thought through and kind of analysis on Sunday evening. One of the things I do want to talk about the Driving More show, by the way, is apparently they're not using the Gilbert balls anymore. They're using Adidas balls. So join us at 8 p.m. on Tuesday where we'll talk about the ball change, because I think that's a big thing when it comes to All Blacks.
Good brand, good brand. Feel free to send me some clothes if you want, guys. Yeah, we'll that's fine by me.
They're playing the Adidas rugby balls this season.
Yeah, they're playing the Adidas rugby balls this season, not Gilbert.
Actually, hang on. I can see that. New Zealand Sports Radio, sponsored by Adidas and the All Blacks. I like it. Get it, make it happen.
Cornflake, show us. I want to see your undies now too. Come on, you got All Blacks undies on you. I know it. You got All Blacks undies too. Come on.
See, we only get to see Stephen's Cornflake's undies if you become a Patreon of the channel.
Right. Yeah.
Behind the table,
it's got to go through the roof.
Become a supporter of the channel, patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio. We had a yellow card on the 80th minute, taking the ball without the player. I thought that he was a chance of a penalty try there. Because
no, there were too many Crusaders players back. Damn, you guys really hate the Crusaders today. I mean, I don't like them, but you are on the next level here.
Well, as soon as the referee said, let's see if there's any more, it's like, oh, there's no one between him and the try line.
Yes, it was.
They were even with him coming across. They weren't in front of, but they weren't between him. So it could have been, but no, he didn't.
Okay, all right, let's turn it around. Imagine if that was Crusaders against the Blues and Crusaders got a penalty try like that against the Blues. How would you feel?
Oh, ecstatic.
I wasn't asking you.
Well, clearly that would be preferential treatment for the Crusaders, as we've seen during this game. Absolutely. But there you go.
He was never going to score that try. I mean, from my point of view, from a Highlanders fan point of view, he was never going to score that try. I was disappointed, and Eric, he should have just kept going. He'd already beaten half of the team. Why did he just beat the rest of them?
Look, let's be honest. He was never even going to catch the ball. Never mind score a try.
Oh, no.
I mean, the pass was nowhere near him. So, yeah.
He'd already beaten half the team, though. He only had 2 more guys to beat in the little corner there. He'd chip over the top of them. 2 guys running, for the Highlanders, Fakatava and Ariki Garner. They're both pacey guys. I mean, why chance that pass? He was surrounded by red jumpers, Fakatava on the inside, so it was a risky ball. But boy, that run, let's not take away that run from Nareki, was just phenomenal. It was outstanding.
He had a good game. I'm really looking forward to watching him for the rest of the season. I was really excited last season to watch him because he had such a great season with Otago. But it didn't really fire last season. But he looks like he's on form this season, which is great. I don't know if him being part-time with the 7s, part-time with the 15s messed up his preparation last year. But this year, he's looking slick, which is great. Steve, sorry, your final point. from this game? Anything else?
Let's wait till next week. The Highlanders, are they playing next week? I don't even know. I've not looked at the fixtures. But hey, that was a good start. A good start. Promising signs. One match for the better. 13 points behind the Crusaders. That's not too displeasing. Let's try and finish some tries. Let's try and get the Crusaders some more cards in future so that games are a bit more even and things will be all well and good from there. But no, from a Highlanders perspective, yeah, good start. I think Conor Garden-Bishop, I was really impressed by him. I thought he was played a really, really good game. A bit of an unknown. Haven't seen too much of him. Injury last season really killed his year off. So he was impressive scoring that try, and he made some good breaks, good kick chases, put pressure on those kicks as well. So he was really, really impressive. Josh Ioane, a bit more fluid when he came into the game and took ball first receiver. I think Mitch Hunt was good, but you don't notice a big change of style, I think, when Josh Ioane come on the field for the Highlanders. So that'll be something I think they'll look at as well, mixing those two guys up if they start them both next time out. And probably a disappointment for me was Solomon Olomalo. He got pulled really early. That was a real disappointing thing.
He did save a try with an interception, though.
He did. He played pretty well, but I think I was surprised he got pulled so early. That's a big surprising point. And put him on the wing. But
look, he's a player that's been riddled with injuries for the past few seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
Hence, try and make sure he's not playing tired, and getting injured early might be part of it for that one.
But how long has it been since the Highlanders have had good wingers? 3.
Waisaki Naholo and who was on the other side? Was it Lamb at the other side at the same time as Naholo and Lamb?
No. Ben Lamb never played as a Hurricanes.
No, not Ben Lamb. A different one.
Lamb.
Anyway, but
you had Ben Smith at fullback too. That helped.
Yeah, and there was another. Anyway, I can't remember the name of the Fijian or island guy on the left hand side.
Tavita Lee. Not Tavita Lee.
No. Before him, a bigger guy. Anyway, I'll say. Well, I'm trying to wrap the show up. Herman, last thoughts on the game. And we're talking reaction here, not big, not big analytical lists like we got from Steve.
Yeah. I'm not going to run through it. Well, I'm being a little bit cheeky now. As usual, Highlands were robbed. There was a red card. There was a poor try. Highlands were to have the try chalked. It should be an easy win for the Highlanders, but New Zealand Rugby Union, they want the Crusaders to win because that's good for the All Blacks. It's all a sham. Now I'm just talking completely. I thought it was actually, I liked the first half way better than the second half. The first half was pretty good code. Second half was very sloppy, actually, from both teams. So, but good to see good rugby back on again. So I love watching New Zealand Super Rugby. So I'm very happy with that. But I think we can expect a little bit better from both teams, actually.
Patrick Osborne, that's the player. Thank you, Stephen Harris.
I was about to say Patrick Osborne. I just wikied it. No, not quality. Decent, but no. Not the same level. And Miller's got a still there too. 4. Oh, he was Fijian. Don't even say that. End it, Paul. You're digging yourself a hole. Come on.
Residency rules. Anyway, because look, as a Northern Hemisphere person, I know that the All Blacks, all they do is raid the islands for players, and that's why they're good.
How off topic can we go now? Into the Blues play tonight.
Great to have Super Rugby back. Super Rugby Aotearoa back anyway. Both sides showed something of what we're going to see of them, but a long way off from where they'll be in a couple of weeks' time. I think when they actually get a few matches under their belts. I think both a bit rusty, and the Crusaders just doing what Crusaders do. The Highlanders, just not quite on their game. If you're not quite on your game, you don't quite take the right decisions, you're going to lose to the Crusaders. And to me, that's what's happened.
Probably a bit annoying for Highlanders because this was a game you could actually have won against the Crusaders. Crusaders were far from the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Missed opportunity.
Next up, Reds versus the Rebels. As I say, join us on Sunday evening. Actually, join us tomorrow night, straight after Hurricanes versus the Blues, where you'll get this kind of reaction again. And it will be reaction rather than review and in-depth analysis. The review and the proper analysis and looking at the games will be on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Enjoy your weekend, folks. And thank you so much to Cornflake and Herman for joining me.
Thank you.